Welcome to the Catholic Life Coach Podcast. My name is Carla Fitz. I'm a certified life coach, wife, and mom of two beautiful little girls and a handsome little boy. My hope for this podcast is to support and empower other Catholic women to live their most authentic life, to share life coaching tools from a Catholic perspective in order to help you live a more fulfilling and aligned life filled with peace, joy, and abundance. Let's get started. Hello and welcome, my loves. I am so excited to be here with you guys today in preparation for welcoming Jesus in our heart and in preparation to continue this Advent season and finishing this Advent season, because by the time this episode comes out, we'll be pretty much done with Advent. And I'm just so excited to share this topic with you because it has been coming up a lot in my life, my personal life, but it's also been coming up a lot with my clients. And it is the topic of silence, how important it is to quiet our hearts. And I wanted to touch base with all of you to encourage you guys to open your hearts to welcome Jesus in a much different way, and or maybe a similar way in which you have been doing it the past few years. But if you have not yet done it this way, let's share about it. Let's talk about it. We live in a time of our lives where busyness is promoted as a good thing. Busyness is a way to be productive. It's the way we're supposed to be running our lives, because otherwise we are lazy, right? There's so much talk out there on the importance of busyness. You ask someone how they're doing, and what is the typical answer? Oh, I'm doing good, busy, right? And it's almost not just encouraged, but celebrated to be busy. And in the time of Jesus, I always think of how things were back then. God was never in a hurry. God was never too busy to be with us, right? For us, on the other hand, life can be so chaotic and so busy that we create this excuse that feels true in our minds and in our heart, which is, I'm too busy to go do a holy hour. I am too busy to slow down. I'm too busy to journal. I'm too busy to build a puzzle with my children. There is so much going on in life, in the day in, day out, that it can be tricky to find those pockets of silence. And it is so important to find those pockets of silence, because it is in the silence that we find Him. It is in the slowing down that we are able to find Him. I've been recently reminded that for a lot of people, Christmas is about the presents. It's about the food that we eat. It's about the getting together with the family. It's about decorating and having all things perfect and all of the things, which in it of itself, it's not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing to want to decorate your home. It is not a bad thing to get together with family or eat together. It's not bad to have presents. None of those things are bad in it of itself. But when we are so focused on having all of those things lined up and we're focused on getting that gift and getting that gift, it can get very, very, not just expensive, but overwhelming. Years ago, I had a very busy Christmas. I remember we used to have the stockings, and the stockings had to be full, but then we would also open them up like few days as Christmas was leading up. And we had to have the gifts for everybody and the gifts exchange and all the things. And it felt exhausting. None of it. I think we just kept forgetting that Christmas was about Jesus being born and being reborn in our hearts. Each and every Christmas, we are welcoming God into our hearts again. And I remember that Christmas, I set a goal for myself, and it was, we are done with stockings. We are going to have a simpler Christmas. And I have been thinking of how much of a difference it has made in my life to have that, a simple Christmas or a simpler Christmas, where we get a gift for our children and that's it, where we put together a Christmas dinner, but we keep it as simple as we possibly can so that we can enjoy it. And we cook as a family. We do it together so that we can find that time where we can enjoy our Christmas together as a family. But this year, I added one thing and took away another. We used to watch lots of Christmas movies leading up to Christmas, and this year we have watched maybe two. And instead, we decided to add Advent prayers around the Advent wreath right before we eat supper. And we just sit and meditate with our family, with our little girls, and ask questions to one another on how we can welcome God into our hearts, but also how can we act as Jesus would with the people around us. And one of the topics that have been coming up a lot is the topic of both simplicity and silence. What happens in our minds, and I'm just going to go into a little bit of life coaching information, I guess, combined with our faith, because, well, that's what I do. So I'm just going to go into it this way. What happens in our minds, and the reason why we fight silence so much, it's because we have thousands of thoughts throughout the day. Thousands. And when we sit in silence, depending on how you see it, it can be an opportunity for you to check in and see how you're doing, see what it is that you're believing and feeling, and spend time with your emotions. Or it can be a challenging time where you get to sit, see what you're doing in your mind, and experience emotions. When we don't have the tools to just sit and process our emotions and welcome those emotions, it can feel shattering. It can be overwhelming. It's so hard to process and sit in that silence because we have to open up our minds to our hearts. That's the time where we open our hearts and we are able to see what's in it. What is it? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? And the craziest part is that in that silence, when you are open and your heart is open and you don't have your phone to distract you or the book to distract you, that is the time where God can reach out very deep into your heart and pull things that are stuck in there that you have not been wanting to look at. That is your one-on-one coaching session with God. In that session, He will bring things up, and it can be very uncomfortable. But if you open your heart, it can also be very healing. Because what we do is we pile thoughts upon thoughts and upon thoughts, and we pile beliefs upon another beliefs and doubt upon another doubt, and we pile emotions. We pile emotions one on top of the other. And by the time you are done not spending time in silence, it's really hard to let it be there. It's really hard to process it. It's really hard to feel it. That is why our society has created this need to be busy, to not pause, to fill your day so much so that you don't feel. And I'm here to tell you that your emotions are unbelievably powerful. They are there to heal you. They are there to bring something up that God needs you to look at. They're there to bring joy ultimately to your heart. And yes, some emotions are hard to process: sad, heartbreak, defeat. Perhaps your heart is feeling grief right now, and those emotions are hard to process, but they're powerful. They can bring up in you some truths and some healing that is so needed in your life. We think that that gift, that book, that the busyness of life just kind of numb the intense emotions, and they do. They numb them, but they always come right back. They don't go away. And the best thing you can do is allow yourself to be in the silence, to quiet your heart and your mind so that you can open up to those windows of opportunity where God can reach and touch you, and you can hear Him in those meditations and in that silence. I also think silence is very underrated when it comes to our families. We want to do all the things, and I'm one that gets into her head wanting to make my children as happy as can be. But what my children truly desire is quiet time with us, where we sit and build a puzzle or play a game, and we like to put very soft Christmas music in the background just to make it cozy and turn on the fire. And of course, I love all those things, right? What they truly want is that time with us. And children can be such a beautiful example of how we should be living our life with God. Because what God wants from us is not to do all of the things, to check all the boxes and do all the prayers and all the novenas and all the rosaries, right? All those things are good. Again, all of those things are good. But sometimes what's needed is sitting in silence with God. It's allowing Him to be there. One of my clients recently said, I just need to let God love me. And I love that because we do. In that moment of silence, in that pocket of silence that you find, just sit there and let God love you this Christmas season. Empty your hearts from all the things that are distracting you and be open to the transformation that He is preparing for you, both in your mind and in your hearts. I pray that all of you have a beautiful Christmas season, that you welcome Him in your hearts, that you let Him lead you, that you become the person that He is calling you to be, that you let Him be the guide, and that you let yourself follow Him and say yes more and more in your life. But for right now, practice slowing down and quieting your hearts so that you are able to hear His voice. And in that silence, allow yourself to also hear your voice. Know that the words, the thoughts in your head need to come out in order for them to be healed. Bring it to Jesus. What is happening inside of you? He wants to hear you. And know that I'm here too. I love supporting my clients and helping them feel heard so that they can find healing with God, aligning their lives with Him. I'm sending you all so much love. I pray and hope you have a beautiful Christmas. Enjoy all of it and enjoy some quiet time with God this Christmas. All right, until next time, God bless. Thank you so much for listening. If you are ready to dive deeper into creating an aligned life with God at the center of it all, I want to invite you to a one-on-one consultation call with me. This is your chance to explore what is possible for you and to take the next step towards living with more clarity, peace, and joy. Sign up today. The link is in the description. I also want to invite you to leave a review if you have been enjoying these episodes, and make sure to share it with a friend. That way God can reach more and more amazing Catholic women. All right, until next time, God bless.